Hi, today I am going to explain few things about Jetpack Compose. Here on my screen you might be getting something called as Jetpack Compose. Well, Jetpack Compose Android has launched and now it has become a stable. Before a few months ago it became a stable. So I am thinking to have some video on this. I am playing around with the Compose and I got to know few things, and that I wanted to put in the terms of video. So what I wanted to do, I hope you see my screen. Now I am going to create new project. First let me create new project. See here, new project. This is the Android Studio, and make sure that you will create empty compose activity. You will create what? Empty compose activity. Just go next, and here you can say live stream activity, live stream app. Okay, and I would be creating this. Let me create one folder here and say live stream, and into that folder I would like to create this thing, this project. Let's click on the finish. I am closing earlier instance of the studio, so it will not consume the RAM. Remember, studio is little bit heavy software. Well, I am using Core i7 16 GB plus live stream. This might consume a lot of RAM. So what I wanted to start is the Compose. What I wanted to start is a Compose. Project is getting created in a minute. Still this Gradle build is running and it will take little time. Till then I would like to talk about the Compose. So when you say Compose, a new way of building UI, a new way of interacting with, you can say it's a new way of interacting with the Android. A lot of things are happening. Remember that in the UI, in a Jetpack Compose UI, and you will get to know few functionalities that has to be there and that you should know. Well, prerequisite of this live is that you should have little bit understanding of the Android. You should have worked with the constraint layout and all other things. That is the requirement. Now still its Gradle build is running. See, it takes the time. Remember that in the beginning it takes the time. Okay, project has been created now. Now here let's select the project mode and you can see all the things. Well, at the end of the live I'm going to upload this source code on the GitHub so you can see that. So whenever you say Compose, right, a nice article given to us or nice documentation is given to us by Google, and if you see here a simple composable function, right, when you talk about what is composable, from where it has came, if you have developed the Flutter applications or the React Native applications, so they are following that architecture over here, right? So in detail things they have written. So in the composable you are going to create what you can say functions, and that functions will render the UI. Google or Android has created this what you can say library in such a way that you just need to think about the functions. your pieces of the code would be thought of a function. You would be needing something called as functions. That will really help you. Okay, let's go to here and see the basic structure given to you by the studio, Android Studio, right? So there is something called as preview. Means if you want to see the preview, you need to have this thing. Well, I'll talk this thing a little bit later on. Let me delete it. But I want to focus on something called as very core aspect of, you can say, very core aspect of the Jetpack Compose. Now see, this is your normal application, and there is set content view. There is what? Set content view. Now we know every Android activity requires the layout file, right? But here layout XML is missing, and you are typing the code, or you are generating the UI by means of the code. Now see, a simple composable function. Using Compose, you can build your user interface by defining a set of composable functions that take data and emit the UI. Remember that. Using Compose, you can build your user interface by defining set of composable functions that take data and emit the UI. A simple example they have given over here. Now see, a noteworthy things about the composable function. The function is annotated with the composable annotation. The function takes in the data. The function displays text in the UI about their code they have talking about. The function return nothing, right? The function is idempotent and the free of side effect. Idempotent means what? If you call n number of times, right, there is a still effect is same. There is nothing but the idempotent, right? So when you say the function, or when you say a composable function that takes the data and creates the UI. Let's go here and let me show you something. Remember that set content view we are requiring. Set content, right? Set content would be like this. Now see, if I go to the source code of this function set content, right? So this function is, can you see, is accepting a content as a composable function. This function is accepting the content. See, content is a, what you can say, the content is of type function, and which should be attached or which should be annotated with the add composable. So here if you see content composable, return type is unit. The composable functions do not return anything, right? But set content, and here you need to pass this lambda. I'll write it. Can you see? I have passed the lambda, and here I can say text, and here we can say hello to Jetpack Compose. Hello to Jetpack Compose. Let us run the project and see what happens. Well, I would like to do it here, and let me create the emulator, and to the emulator I will try to run the project. Now let me see what is happening. Okay, so hello to Jetpack Compose. So emulator has started. Just close it, and I am trying to run the project, and see here I am trying to run the project, and you can see here it will take little time. It will take a little time. Okay, emulator has started. Yeah, still Gradle build is running. Well, it will take little time. Till then, remember that set content view or set content is that function which accepts the composable functions. Which accepts what? Composable functions. So that's what we are running. So what is this text? I am going to tell you. If you see here, if you look at, let me delete the unwanted packages. If you look at what you can say, if you look at import section, if you see androidx.compose.material.text, you will see what do you mean by that. And if you go here in a build.gradle, apps build.gradle, well, in the beginning it will take time. Yeah. Can you see hello to the Jetpack Compose on the emulator? You can see that. Set content, and inside the content there is a text. Now, what do you mean by this text? Remember that, just go to the source code of the text, and here if you will see, you can see text is at composable function. Text is what? At composable function. This function has been written by Android team, and if you go to the app build.gradle, look at the import sections. Can you see androidx.compose UI, androidx compose material, androidx UI tooling preview, lifecycle, android activity compose, and things related to compose has been already implemented over here or imported over here. Fine. So this text is a function. Text is nothing but what? This simple function which gives the text, composable function. Now if you want to create your own composable function, it's as easy like this. Fun convention is it should be H should be capital, do not follow the camel casing, and just say at composable. Can you see? At composable. What is a composable function? It takes the data. We can have this data, say red, I can say float, it's a Kotlin float, then green, and you can say float, RGB, blue, and you can say float like this. Okay, and what I'm going to do here, you can say text. I'm just going to print. Remember that composable functions are getting called inside the composable functions. Composable functions are getting called inside the composable functions. Remember that. So text is a composable function, and here I can say some text. So red is equals to $red, and green is equals to $green, and blue is equals to $blue. Getting that? So instead of this text, so I'm just commenting this line, why you will get to know, and I'm just calling hi. So you created this composable function which gets the data and renders the UI or emits the UI. So here you can say 12 point, or here you can say 12.56 F, some 0 to 255. Your RGBs are nothing but between the 0 to 255. Let's try to add that 45.96 F, and here you can say 63.12 F like this. So hi is your own composable function, and hi is going to generate this text. Let us see that is working or not. I am running, it might take little time to load. Till then we can discuss further things. If you have any queries, you can ask me. If you have any queries, you can ask me. I'm just running it again, and if you see here, you can say 12 point, or here you can say 12.56 F, something like it, some 0 to 255